Hello, my name is Steve Dubin, and I am the host of South Shore Senior News Podcast, My Generation. We feature folks who improve the lives and impact the lives of seniors and the sandwich generation on a regular basis. I encourage you as a listener and a viewer to contact me if you know of somebody who meets that description. We'd love to hear from you, and we've gotten some great suggestions from people in the past. Today, we will talk about the unique aspects of senior real estate and seniors either downsizing or right sizing or renovating or having second homes. There are a number of different aspects to this. And our expert today has been in the business for several decades. I'll let her give you a better description than I can. And let me bring on Randy Veraguas of Conway Real Estate. Randy, welcome.
Good. Well, I was going to say good afternoon, but I'm not sure who's going to be watching this at what time. So hello. Thanks,
Yeah,
Steve.
we won't give that away. What time it is.
Thanks
So
for having me on.
great to have you. So
Thank you.
Sure, we both look really young, but how long have you been in this business?
I was doing real estate in Europe before I even got my license here stateside. And in Europe, you don't need a license. So probably 20 years altogether. And here in the States for about 14.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite aspect of being in real estate?
Whew. You know what? Just helping people. It's really, really fun. It's a pretty overwhelming task, buying or selling a home. And I like to help them with that. It's a lot of psychology and it's a little bit of understanding real estate.
Okay. And, there's a lot of people who hang out their shingle as real estate agents.
Yeah.
How do you, in particular, make it easier for people to make transitions?
That's a great question. Well, I work for Jack Conway. Jack Conway is a very well-known real estate agency on the South Shore and in Massachusetts. I don't know, again, where anybody's listening, but I'm also a relocation specialist. So Jack Conway has contracts with other agencies around the world. So, they're always advertising for us. There's also the good old fashioned word of mouth, which I prefer. And I think if you are honestly a good person and you're friendly, and you tell people what you do, eventually you're going to get business. I don't think you necessarily have to have a website, not anymore.
And in particular, how do you make it easier for people who oftentimes it's one of the most anxiety-ridden situations for anyone to be in, to make that big leap. How do you help people through that?
Good question. Like I said, it's overwhelming. And so what I like to do with them is put it into bite-sized pieces instead of saying like, look at all this that we have to do. We can say, oh, we have to do this and then this and then this and then this. And my father's a psychologist, and he used to, like, I would be like, Dad, I have so much homework. And he would say, Randy. And there was just this analogy that he always used. If you could see all the food you're going to eat for the rest of your life, you'd never think you're going to eat it, but on your deathbed, you look back and you ate all that food. It wasn't overwhelming. You hopefully enjoyed it, and it's gone. Same with moving. It's overwhelming if you look at it all at once, but you can break it down into super bite-sized pieces. And I found that to be very pleasurable. A lot of the seniors that I work with, it's like going down memory lane. They're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had lost these gloves forever. These gloves were the first pair of gloves my husband gave me when we were in Paris. And I hear all these stories and I see the twinkling in their eyes. It's very exciting for me. And I think I make that overwhelming experience, very exciting for my clients as well.
Yeah, that's great. And so, what's the more standard client scenario? Is it downsizing? Is it getting a second home? Is it moving to something like assisted living or a retirement community?
Right.
What kinds of folks are you really seeing?
Um, I was a sales director for 6 years in an assisted living community. So for those 6 years, I was biased. I saw most of the seniors that I interacted with were moving into an assisted living community of some sort. That's a downsize scenario. I know this is for the South Shore Senior News, so I'm going to plug a little something I did years ago. I used to write for the South Shore Senior News. And I'm having something really strange pop up on my computer. 1 second. I don't know if you can see this, but
You're not.
oh, that's
So we're
very
good.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
our picture's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right. I can't see you anymore, just so you know. So anyway, what I normally have dealt with in the past 14 years being stateside is people who are downsizing. And so I wrote an article called Dare to Downsize because, again, it's overwhelming. And every single time, whether I was part of that downsizing move or not, when I would ask them, would you do this again? Their answer was an emphatic yes. And the only change they would have made is to do it sooner. Because so many times they're stuck in a big, huge house and their normalcy, it's normal for them to just be living in 2 rooms. And that just becomes the norm. That's not normal to have a ginormous house and just live in 2 rooms. Or, I mean, it is for them, but it's expensive. A lot of time goes into maintenance, and it's they don't realize that it's not fun until they've gotten rid of that big house that they thought they could never live without, and they've downsized. And when they've downsized, they realize they have more time, they have more money, and like I said, a lot of them find that pair of gloves and go down memory lane and have really enjoyed the process.
And so part of the downsizing experience means choosing to limit what you bring with you.
Yes.
How do you go through that process, or how do you help people as they make those sort of difficult, critical decisions?
It is very personal. Some people actually say, you know what, this is crap. I don't want it. Get me new stuff. I want a new beginning. That's easy. That's okay. Great. What do you like? You like blue? You like green? You like yellow? Let's do this. But most people want to replicate the feeling and the sense they got in their big, huge family home into their new little home. So when you have the dining room set for 12, we're going to take 4 of those pieces with us and move them. You have the big dining room. We don't need that anymore. Maybe you might want to bring a chair to remind you of that, and have a cute little side table and have your fancy chair beside that. So it's basically walking around your big home and picking the things that stand out to you. Make a pile. This is what I can't live without. Now that pile might have to go through that a few times, but I think by starting with that also, a lot of times people are afraid of losing things and having to get rid of things. But if you start by saying, what do you absolutely need? That's an easier task to commit to in the beginning of a move, because now you're excited. Okay, I want this picture of my grandfather. Boom, that's going on my bed. Oh, I can't live without my comforter. I've had this for 45 years. This is going with me. You start making a pile of things that you absolutely need. And now that gives you comfort. You know you're going to be going to your new home with your pile of things that you don't have to give up. It's a really nice feeling. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you work with other professionals sort of who are part of that equation? tell
Yeah.
us who not necessarily the people you work with, but what are some of the other titles and services that you make available
Yep.
to the person on the move?
Mm-hmm. So it depends on their finances because, bringing in professionals usually means, handing out the money. So sometimes it's worthwhile and sometimes you just have to do it on your own. But you can bring in senior move managers. They're specialists that literally go into a senior's home and basically walk them through the move and asking them, just like I do, what do you want to take with you? How do you want to feel in your new home, etc. And then there's also the movers themselves. Um, Most people aren't going to be able to pack their boxes of books in China and be able to carry it themselves. So you've got to have a really good list of professionals that you trust, and movers are at the top because you don't want anything breaking on the move. There's also the finance guy, and talk to your attorney, your tax specialist, and your attorney about when you sell this home, what are the financial consequences of selling this home? Has it been in a trust? So there are lots of other professionals that can come into play when it comes to a home. That's usually the most expensive thing a human owns in their life is a house. So, yeah.
Okay. And then what kind of trends do you see in senior real estate in terms of what kind of things your clients are gravitating towards? Is it, the 2-3 bedroom ranch? Is it a retirement community where they have a lot of shared space with the rest of the community? Is it a second home in Florida? Um, what kind of trends are you seeing?
Yep. I would honestly say the lucky 60-year-olds are snowbirding now. And then in Florida. And then the older people, they definitely want ranch style because of the stairs. Nobody likes stairs. So that's really important. And I've seen them, again, for 6 years. I worked at an assisted living community. They would all move in begrudgingly, very reluctantly, but then they would make friends and enjoy all the activities. And I got to see them enjoying their life. The seniors that I moved into 55 plus communities that were adamant, like, I'm not ready for assisted living. I didn't really get to see them enjoying what was going on. But the reasons why they chose that place is because they're very independent. They're still driving. They're very active. And that made sense. I didn't talk them into going into a senior living community. They did want a smaller home for maintenance and for finances. And they did enjoy, at least this was the reasoning they gave me, they enjoyed the idea of having, like you just said, those huge recreation rooms, the swimming pools, access to a golf course, etc., that not a lot of assisted living communities offer.
Okay, and then do you find that it's unusual to have buyer's remorse when someone transitions?
It's actually very normal to have buyer's remorse. That feeling of, whoo, I wish I had done this sooner, comes after they get acclimated to a new schedule and they meet new friends and they enjoy their new environment. Because I also have spent 15 years in healthcare, depending on the senior themselves, when they make a move, I recommend having a VNA come in, a visiting nurse association come in, and just give them a baseline check. They're in a new environment, have a physical therapist or an occupational therapist, follow them around, see how easy it is to get in and out of this shower now and get on and off this toilet and in and out of this bed. And maybe they'd want to just make it a little safer. There's a company called, this is another company that can help seniors. It's called Oakley Home Access. And there are lots of them like this that for free, they'll go into a home and do like a safety check and write suggestions about what could make it a little safer in your home. Maybe you need lights because you get up 5 times a night to go to the bathroom, and now the toilet's on the left side instead of the right side. You want to be able to get out of bed and see the lights going right to the bathroom, and little things like that. So that's always a good suggestion if they can afford that.
Okay. And then also hot or trending towns that people, seniors tend to want to go to, and or towns that you recommend that might be sort of less known, but are the better deals available for seniors.
Well, this is tough because we are on the South Shore of Boston, and so I'm only answering for South Shore. There is the Pine Hills, which is a huge community down in Plymouth. A lot of people love the idea of going down there. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it. It's gorgeous. There are lots of 55 plus communities that are in Braintree and Weymouth and Quincy, and they're very blue collar, and a lot of people just feel way more comfortable in those communities. So it's very subjective what I would consider great and what my client would consider great. So I think what's super important when I'm meeting somebody that's considering downsizing is saying, what is important to you? Because maybe they want beach access. They've never lived by the beach, and all they want to do, they've retired, they've worked their, off, and they just want to walk the beach for the next 10 years while they can. I'm going to say Hull. But if you look at Hull, and just from a senior's perspective, there are just a few senior homes in Hull that are available. And there's no skilled nursing facility in Hull. There's no assisted living community in Hull. But the homes are some are still affordable. And there's still small homes in Hull that you can get. And so, again, it's so subjective. It would depend on who I'm talking to and what they like. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And so I think we've sort of covered the subject. Is there anything I missed?
I don't think there's anything you missed, but I do have a tagline I wouldn't mind sharing with this viewing audience.
Please do.
Okay. So, buying or selling along the coast, Randy's the one who will help the most.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for spending time with us, sharing information that's valuable. And then what's the best way to reach you? I see you put your phone number at the bottom of your photo.
Sure.
So are there other ways that people can reach you as well?
Absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. My email address is rveraguas@jackconway.com. And yeah, but give me a call. You can text me. And I think most people really enjoy that ease of communication.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your help. And I hope we run into each other down the road.
Absolutely. Me too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.